Browns fans, you did it. You got to 100 subs on our brand new Browns channel at chatsports.com/BrownsTV. So we're giving you guys a mailbag answering your questions on the Cleveland Browns. Now, if you want another one, get that channel to 300 subs as soon as possible. The Seahawks fans, that's who you're competing against because they have brought it. They are already over 1,000. So if you want more Browns videos, you guys got a sub. That's how things work here at Chat Sports. All right, from Ohio State 03, are we the leader for Clowney? Of course, a Browns question on Jadeveon Clowney. No real surprise there. Makes a lot of sense. The Browns have, at least reportedly and allegedly, offered Clowney more than any other team, yet Clowney has not accepted that offer. And it's a little weird. We'll break down in this maybe some theories as to why. I think the Browns are smart to pursue Clowney. I think he'd be a strong addition for that organization. He could just easily replace Olivier Vernon. And he and Myles Garrett on the edge, that's a pretty tantalizing duo. And yet Clowney appears to not want to come to Cleveland, and it's kind of weird. Adam Schefter, when he first broke the news that the Browns had made the most offer, which we now reportedly know is around 17, 18 million, here's what Schefter had to say. Is it not wanting to be in that city? Is that a lack of belief in the organization as to why Clowney said no? I don't know what it is. There's no doubt that Cleveland has offered the most money to date. For whatever reason, he has not been willing to take it so far. That doesn't mean that it couldn't change, but it hasn't changed yet. I do believe the Browns would be a good fit for Clowney. You dump Vernon, you slot him in with Myles Garrett. It makes sense. The Seattle Seahawks also makes sense. Tennessee Titans could be a fit. If I were Clowney, I would have taken the deal. I would have taken that 1 year, 17, 1 year, $18 million, whatever, try and cash in next year. It is a little weird, and if you guys Browns fans feel disrespected by it, I also understand that from your perspective. All right, next up from Matt. Any more free agent moves? Clowney, BRADHAM? Of course, we just mentioned Clowney. How about BRADHAM, though? He's an interesting idea. Look, you lose Joe Schobert. You move on from Christian Kirksey. I'm excited to see some of those younger linebackers in full-time roles. I wouldn't mind bringing in Nigel BRADHAM, though. He's been kind of briefly linked to the Browns in the past. He would give them experience at the linebacker spot. I'm open to that idea. I'm not convinced the Browns want to go do it just yet. And I do think part of the reasoning there is that BRADHAM isn't quite the same guy he was in his prime. Now, injuries have kind of been a bit of a factor at times throughout his NFL career. You're not getting 2016 BRADHAM, who I would argue really was among the better linebackers in the NFL. But as a veteran, if as a fourth or even fifth linebacker, worst case scenario, some veteran experience, if the young guys struggle, I'm open to that idea. So what I want you guys to do in the comment section is kind of be like Matt. Name a free agent that you believe the Cleveland Browns need to go out and sign. Maybe it's Clowney, maybe it's BRADHAM, maybe it's an offensive lineman. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, from Cleveland Fan 41, kind of said that weird. Do you think the Browns could target Jamal Adams? Also, what do you think Baker's season will look like? So we'll go Adams, then we'll break down Baker Mayfield after that. Look, if I'm the Browns, yeah, I'm going to pursue Jamal Adams. If you have a chance to add a at minimum top 3 young safety in the NFL, arguably the best young safety there with Minka and with Derwin James, I think you should probably go ahead and do that. Now, the alleged asking price in a trade for Adams is a first and a third round pick. If I'm Cleveland, I'm going to offer that. I think that makes sense. You get a player that, in theory, with Adams on the team, the Browns are making the playoffs, right? Well, okay, so you're trading pick 24, whatever it is, and a third round pick for Jamal Adams. You're not going to get a better player than Jamal Adams 24 overall. Yeah, you have to pay him, but I would certainly do that. My issue is, and this has been my issue, I am not convinced the Jets actually move on from Adams at this point. I'm not convinced that is a path that they end up going. I wonder if they're just going to pay him, like a smart organization would choose to do. As for Baker Mayfield, I am expecting a better year out of Baker in 2020. The reality is for Mayfield, he did not trust that offensive line. And they've overhauled it. They brought in 2 new tackles. Hubbard now becomes the swing. You're hoping Wyatt Teller isn't a weak point there, but maybe Drew Forbes wins that job. Baker lost faith in his offensive line, and it led to him not trusting it, and he would bail out of clean pockets. His internal clock was sped up way too fast. Hopefully, a better offensive line will help restore that faith in Baker Mayfield. And for what I anticipate being a very run-heavy offense, using a lot of play action, also a great way to help maximize your young quarterback. I believe in Baker. Baker was my number one quarterback coming out. I think some of the national reaction to Baker Mayfield's admittedly poor and down 2019 season has been a little over the top. But if I'm listening at the quarterbacks in that draft class, not including Lamar, Baker, Allen, and Darnold, I still feel as confident in Baker, if not more so, than the rest of those guys. And if you agree with me, Browns fans, I want you to like this video if you believe that Baker Mayfield will bounce back in 2020. I think he's going to. I got some confidence in there. We'll, of course, see what happens on the field. All right, from Jacob Infinite 7. Will Baker have better chemistry with Odell Beckham, or will he wind up not being able to connect with many of his receivers? Last year, things did not go well for the Browns. There's no way around it. Odell Beckham was not the same guy that I think we were anticipating him being. I think that's the unfortunate reality of the situation on that front. It just never looked quite right for Beckham and for Baker Mayfield. But I think that can change this year, and I think it will change this year. Jarvis Landry, I think he'll have another quality season. I am curious who emerges at wide receiver 3. Rashard Higgins fell out of favor. Maybe that changes this offseason. Donovan Peoples-Jones is there. Maybe Tawon Taylor has a surprise year. I'm curious about DPJ because an OBJ DPJ duo would be kind of fun there. But I think you'll see a better Browns offense in 2020. Now, Browns fans, got a deal for you guys. Head over to chatsports.com/Browns jersey. That is chatsports.com/Browns jersey. That Odell Beckham one, that Baker Mayfield one coming up here in a second, some of the other ones as well. They're actually for $60. The Myles Garrett one, that one's still at 80. They are available under $80. The link will take you to all of them. Some of them are even discounted further. So go check it out. We'll link in the comments and the description at chatsports.com/Browns jersey. Speaking of Myles Garrett, by the way, from Destroy, do we have a top 10 defense with Garrett playing all 16 games? Of course, he means Myles Garrett. It's a great question. Defenses from year to year, I think, are a little bit more inconsistent compared to offenses. The Browns defense last year, because the whole team wasn't very good, they had some issues. Now, you're definitely better with Myles Garrett out there. No one thinks otherwise. 10 sacks, 10 games. That's impressive. Now, as long as he keeps his emotions in check, isn't hitting guys over the head with helmets, he's going to be a superstar player, as he's already shown more than enough flashes to consider. My viewpoint of this is that a top 10 defense, I do believe, is possible. I'm not convinced it comes down to Garrett, though. I think you need your young corners to take a big step forward. You want Grant Delpit to play a key role, a linebackers that are young to play well. It is possible. You were 12th in 2018, so you're not that far away. I would just wonder if maybe top 15 is a more realistic, hittable target for the Browns in 2020 on defense. As a reminder, everyone, more subscriptions, it just equals more videos. That's how things work here. So Browns fans, head over to chatsports.com/Browns TV. Hit that big red button. Put your questions in there. If you are a Browns fan, hey, we're going to hopefully build up this Browns channel, but it's up to you guys. We're putting things in your hands. So go hit that big red button and subscribe today. As a reminder, told you earlier, 300 subs on the Browns channel, and we'll give you guys another video. All right, from Bubba to Bowl, do you see Nick Chubb as a dark horse MVP this season? Or MVP candidate, I should say. Actually, yeah, I do. I think Chubb, in terms of true legitimate sleepers dark horse, actually one of my favorite ones. Now, running backs don't often win the award, but they're far more likely than receivers. The tricky part here for MVP is that you have to be on an overachieving team. It often goes to quarterbacks, but I do think Chubb makes sense. He's a great runner. Underutilized, you could argue, at times so far in his Browns career. And Kevin Stefanski comes in. He is going to feed Nick Chubb the football. He is going to get, frankly, a Dalvin Cook-esque workhorse when Cook was healthy. I could see Chubb leading the NFL in carries. That's going to lead to big numbers on yards and touchdowns. So I agree. I think Nick Chubb is a legitimate dark horse MVP candidate for this season. Next up here from Will Larrick, How do you feel Larry Warford would fit into Stefanski's wide zone blocking scheme? It's a good question. I hadn't really put the two and two together, but until you mentioned it, Will, I don't think he's a great fit. And had I not thought about that, I would have gone, yeah, sign Warford, put him in at right guard, get rid of Wyatt Teller, at least for now. But Will's right. Larry Warford is a power run blocker. I think you could get by with him in a zone blocking scheme, but I'm not convinced he's the best fit. I'm not convinced he's an ideal fit. And I think because of that, you might not see the Browns go after him. I think they want to see what Teller has. I'm kind of curious too, because I liked him quite a bit coming out of Virginia Tech. So the Browns could try it, but I'm not convinced it's the best scheme player match.